Right, creating your own performance algorithms to crush your day. Planning and taking control of your day is just a critical part of improving your productivity and your mindset and your performance. It's everything really. If your day is in control, you know what you're doing, you're running at the standards you expect, then everything just starts to have that compounding effect from a performance perspective. But starting with the right mindset can be the difference between having a good day and having a really, really great one. So I'm going to just take you through 6 different approaches to help you get more motivation to have a better day and at the same time improve your mindset. So the first one, do you feel energized? Now, if you're sat at your desk, you start at 9 a.m. and you're a bit slumped and you're like, man, I can't be doing with this today. So much to do. How am I going to get through it all? You're just not feeling motivated. Being energized just gives you so much more of a chance or better chance to have a good day, no matter how much tough stuff you've got going or coming up. And it's different for everyone, but getting energized, you just need to get moving before you start work. Now, that could be something as simple as standing at your desk, having a standing desk. Or it could be you've been out for a short run, a long run. You could be doing a few press-ups, a few squats, a walk before you start work. Whatever you like to do that gets the blood flowing, do it, because it really does help to be able to start the day in that way. If you just fall straight from just having your breakfast, sat down at a table, straight to your desk, everything gets harder if you don't have the right energy levels. And for me personally, because I work from home a lot, whenever I'm struggling, I'm starting to feel like I just can't get going. I'm not focused enough. I don't have enough energy. Quite often I'll stop and I'll go and do some exercise, whether it is just a walk or it's a run, because although exercise clearly does and obviously does tire you out, it does raise your energy levels at the same time to give you more focused. So think about how much energy you have at the start of the day. The next one is imagine your perfect day. So it's very, very easy just to start your day and you just go with it. You react to what's going on. Like I was talking about before in the high versus low performing project manager. You want to be proactive, and this is one way of doing it. Imagining how you're performing during the day, all the things you're achieving, how you're feeling, all those things. Because if you can map out your perfect day, and it does help to write it down as well, doesn't need much detail, you are then much more likely to follow that path and follow those behaviors that you mapped out for your perfect day. Follow those things that you said you're going to get done. Follow that diet that you said would be in your perfect day. It just gives you a much better chance to be able to do it. So imagine your perfect day is number 2. Number 3 is very linked to the perfect day, but how do you want to feel at the end of the day? Do you want to feel like you've just smashed everything out of the park? You're full of energy at the end of the day, or you feel really satisfied you've done so much, or you feel great because you helped somebody out today. Whatever it is, imagine how you want to feel at the end of the day, and then you're more likely going to be pushing towards to get to that feeling through the actions and the behaviors that you're exhibiting during the day. Number 4 is partner up. So this is effectively an accountability partner. Now, you don't have to pay for it. You just need to find a like-minded individual at work who wants to increase their performance, who may be struggling with motivation. And all you have to do, whether you're face-to-face or you're doing this remote, jumping on a quick call, 5 minutes just to make a commitment to each other about what you want to achieve that day. You don't have to go through your whole to-do list, but just pick 1, 2, 3 things that you said, I'm going to get this done today, or I'm going to do this today, these actions or this behavior, whatever it might be. And just by that small act of making that promise to somebody else, you are much more likely to do it. And it's so easy to do. It only takes a few minutes. And over time, you can evolve it as well. Your top 3 could just mean so many different things. I'm going to make sure I go for a walk at lunchtime today. Or I'm going to make sure I finish at 5:30 today because I've been working late this week. Whatever it is, you can change it up. but find somebody else who wants to up their performance. The fifth one is set a lunchtime goal. Now, we often underestimate how much we can achieve in a day, let alone a morning. And setting a lunchtime goal is a really effective way to keep you focused, keep you motivated on getting what you need to get done. And that lunchtime goal has to be challenging. Otherwise, there's no point, because you just do it. You don't get much satisfaction from it. Think about, how could you push yourself? If you were really focused this morning and you planned out your morning, you knew exactly what you're going to do, what could you achieve by lunchtime? And as I said, make it difficult. And linked to that is reward yourself, because having small rewards just makes your day more enjoyable. And a reward doesn't mean buy yourself an iPad because you've just completed a task. It can be a cupcake. It could be, I'm not going to have a cup of coffee until I've finished this task, or these 3 tasks, whatever it might be. So just think about some small little rewards you can give yourself throughout the day that's going to help with your motivation. And it really does help, but you need to think about them up front. So there's 6 ways to help with your motivation and at the same time improve your performance. Now, let's move on to performance algorithms. So average versus world-class PM, or low performing or middle of the lane performing versus high performing project manager. World-class, they're always calm under pressure. They take on difficult challenges without hesitation. They're in control. They consistently deliver on what they promise, and the list can go on and on and on. Versus average PM struggle to manage their workload. They work harder rather than smarter. Problems are pushed back, repeat the same mistakes, and often, as an excuse, they'll have one for everything that goes wrong. Typically someone else's fault. Now, these are all the things that I was speaking about before in the high versus low performing project manager. But to be a world-class, to be a high performing project manager, they are not got some magic methodology that they use, and they don't have all the perfect tools in the world, and it's not because they've got the perfect team either. So what makes the difference? Now, this is something it's not taught in companies. There isn't a certification you can take for this. But what do you think holds back a project manager the most? You could be thinking, oh, it's my team. They're always letting me down, or a client who's forever changing their mind, or an out-of-date planning tool that's full of bugs. Now, all of those, yes, they do not help your performance, but they are not the one thing that's really impacting your performance. So have you ever thought that it could actually just be you? You are the one that's holding yourself back the most, because we are the only ones who make decisions constantly throughout the day on how we behave, how we perform, how we respond, think, whether that's consciously or subconsciously. All of these decisions, whether we're aware of them or not, they impact our performance, and they also impact how those around us perceive us. But luckily, because it's you, all of these decisions, they're fully in your control. And if you make the decision to work like a high performing project manager, you could start today. There's nothing stopping you. And the performance algorithm is a simple 3-step model, which I've used myself, and I've shared this with team members that I've coached and trained, and been line manager to over the years as well. And I've used it to increase my confidence to deal with any challenges, help more people, improve my relationships at work, and ultimately perform at a high level to advance my career. And it's all about implementing a self-performance upgrade. Algorithm sounds very robotic, so does that, I know. But world-class PMs, high-performing PMs, they're not twice as smart as you. They're just twice as effective. And this is when truly high performance can happen. And the more you run the performance algorithm model, the easier it gets and the higher the performance. So, how would you like to respond calmly and confidently no matter what challenge is presented to you, or every day have the satisfaction of knowing you're continuously improving. Or if your typical bad days are currently a 2 out of 10, your bad days going forward will never be lower than a 5. Or your best days, would you give yourself 7 out of 10, but going forward you're regularly having 9 out of 10 and 10 out of 10 days. You can, because running your performance algorithms consistently, your standards increase across the board, and your current normal just goes up to a new level of performance. So let's start with what a performance algorithm is. If X happens, then I do Y. That's it. Purposely simple to make sure you can create them and then run them easily. Now I'll show you how to create them with these 3 easy steps. There are 3 stages of a performance algorithm: review, create, run. And these 3 steps are repeating continuous loops. So you're regularly reviewing what's working, what can be improved, what new performance algorithms need to be added. So let's start with the review stage. Now, this stage is all about understanding what's holding you back. That could be distractions, procrastination, that critical inner voice, how you react when someone disagrees with you, lack of focus, absolutely anything that could impact your performance and behavior. And you need to write down as many as you can. Now, there's no wrong answer to this. There's not a limit of how you can, or how many you can create either. Next is the create stage. So this is when you create your performance algorithms using the if X happens, then do Y approach. And from the review stage, take the biggest issues that affect your performance, pick one, and start writing your first performance algorithm using the if then statement. For example, if I get an email that I completely disagree with, then I'll wait 10 minutes before I respond so I don't react to it with emotion. And you keep going until you have if then statements for everything, or at least the highest priority issues or just areas that you need to improve upon. And in the run stage, this is just when you just start using your performance algorithms. So you then do one of 2 things. Every time one of the scenarios occur that impact your performance, you run the appropriate algorithm. Think of the scenario as the trigger where you catch yourself before you react. Then regularly review your performance algorithms and plan them into your day. For example, add the key ones to post-it notes on your desk if you're working from home. Put it in your diary, put it in your notepad, pop-ups for reminders just to say these are the things I need to focus on. Put it in your weekly review. You need to place them in as many places as possible. And that's the repeating cycle and the secret to keep your new performance algorithms visible. As the more you run them, the more ingrained they become. And then you just run them subconsciously. You just don't think anymore. You just do them. And that is basically your performance levels are being raised. Because the more you run them, the higher your performance. Plus the more times you run the review stage, the higher the performance, as you're always adding to and improving what you've implemented already. And this is how you become a high performing project manager. And it's all possible by making lots of small but achievable changes to your behaviors, which means, as I said, you can start right now. There's nothing stopping you from doing this today. Okay, here's some examples of my performance algorithms. If I can't keep my concentration on a difficult task, then I take a break, get some fresh air and reset before I go. Because too many times I've just tried to just push on through, keep working. I'm just dragging it out. And one, what I'm creating isn't good. It's not high enough quality because I'm just not in it. I'm not focused enough. And it just takes a lot longer. But by simply taking a break, I can then get so much more done when I come back to my desk. And then if I see or read something that makes me angry, then I take at least 10 minutes before I react. Really, really powerful one, simple one, this one. And this is one where I've used and then parked because it really depends on what my working environment is. If I have been working on a really tough project with some difficult individuals, then this is one that comes back into the forefront of my mind, because I know this could happen. So, if you're in a good place, probably going to park it. But if you're not in a good place, then it's a really powerful one to implement into your, or to improve from a behavior point of view. And then if I'm not feeling motivated at the start of the day, then I pick some easy tasks to get me started, just to get me going. Now, talk about this in the productivity week. It's a really, really simple way to improve your productivity and get you started at the start of the day. If you're just not feeling like it, don't pick the really tough ones. I know people say eat the frog, which is do that really, really hard one first, but sometimes you just can't do it. And you do a few easy ones, you're like, God, I've got going now. And this really helps. So this is a really good one. If I keep going to my mobile when I should be working, then I put my mobile in another room. Sometimes I do have it in the room, not right in front of me, and I'm fine because I'm focused on working on things. But then if I find myself keep looking at it because I'm looking for distractions, because I haven't got the right focus on what I should be doing, then I just take it away, put it in another room. And that's it. That is your performance algorithms. Really simple. Even if you just pick and create 2 or 3 today, and that's it, and just try those, you'll see an improvement in your performance. But it's limitless. You can keep creating them. Once those ones become embedded, move on, create more. Just keep creating, because it just elevates your performance.